The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is our picks for the Boxing Hall of Fame. Ballots are to be submitted by October 31st of this year. We're going to put our ballots in right now. We're picking our Hall of Famers. You have to pick at maximum 5. You're not required to pick 5, but at the most you can pick is 5. But we're going to pick 5 and give the names of people we think should get in next time. So, G, all right, who's your 5?
My 5, we got Philly's own Bernard Hopkins, followed by the homie Shane Mosley. Now, this one's going to be a little funny, but walk with me on this. Third person, Carl Froch. The reason why is because, I'm going to show some UK love. He was the man for UK boxing. So, because of that, he's going to make my list. Next up, Juan Manuel Marquez, Carl Froch.
Carl Froch
was on the list.
You picked Carl Froch to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yo, walk with me on my logic.
That's his list.
No, I just want clarification.
Yeah, but the reason why is because I'm trying to show some UK love. You feel me?
So that's a criteria on picking your class.
Listen. Respect your list. I'm gonna respect mine. You know what I mean? So, moving on. Now, this is where it's gonna get controversial, but this is my list. My last person is my boy Timothy Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, and you know why?
Oh shit!
And this is solely off of the reason of this. Bradley Pacquiao won. I thought Bradley won, and I thought everybody from every avenue, from every street corner, from every internet blogging site, whatever, fighting with me, arguing with me, talking about I lost my mind.
We're picking for the Hall of Fame.
Listen. Walk with me. This is my Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
It's a long walk.
Yo, y'all can do what y'all gotta do.
Yeah.
Listen here. The fact that Bradley did what he did against Pacquiao and Bradley Pacquiao won, you made my list, brother. You know what I'm saying? So now, I only got one honorable mention. I had to show some heavyweight love. And so I had Antonio Tarver for my honorable mention. So that's my list.
Wait.
Nah, was he? Nah, he went up to heavyweight.
But he ain't win nothing.
That's true, but I just had to show some form of a heavyweight, something in there. You know what I mean? He's the closest one I got. So
all right. So I think what's it? There is a heavyweight on there.
Michael Moore.
That's right. Michael Moore is on there. But it's fine. So G, just run down your 5 again, just the names.
Oh, okay. We got. Oh, my bad. Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, Carl Froch, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Timothy Bradley.
Okay. Trill, sorry. G's just that's it. I messed it all
up. I made my Hall of Fame list like G. This is just my personal favorites who I think that should be in there. I'm gonna start it off with rest in peace Diego Corrales. I believe that Diego Corrales should be in there. His fight with Castillo is legendary and it will go down in boxing as the fight. There's been many fights. People have mentioned Gotti and Ward, but that 10th round between Diego Corrales and Castillo, I'm getting choked up just talking about it.
You think Diego deserves to get in over Carl Froch?
No, I don't think it's even a question.
I'm just asking.
I'm showing love to my brevs over there.
I don't even think it's a question.
They know. They even know.
Diego Corrales should definitely be in there. The heart of Diego Corrales is. Listen, I can go on and on about Diego Corrales. R.I.P. Diego Corrales. He's number 1. I'm picking him to go in there. Number 2, I got Bernard Hopkins. Of course, we got B-Hop. Listen, I can go on and on about the alien executioner, the man, the myth, the legend, Bernard Hopkins. And he's about to do an exhibition with Roy Jones. He's stealing shit.
They really about to do that?
Yeah, I heard he called him out. He called him out. You know what I'm saying?
Get that coin. You know?
Listen, you know what I'm saying? B Hop, number 2. B Hop. I can go on and on about B Hop. You know what I'm saying? With his starting boxing, coming out late after his prison stints, and then going to boxing, being the longest reigning middleweight champion, being undisputed middleweight champion. Man,
After losing his first professional fight.
yeah, and then going on to be light heavyweight champion. Listen, at the oldest champion to hold the belt. So listen, Bernard Hopkins definitely should be on there. Juan Marquez, definitely have Juan Marquez on that list. He's always been a personal favorite of mine. I personally, that first fight with him and Manny Pacquiao, okay, people can call it a draw, but I thought he got up off the floor after being knocked down 3 times in that first round. I thought he came back and he won. I had him winning. The next fight after that, if people want to say it was the knockdown that let Pacquiao win, okay, but the third fight, I had him winning. And it was until he really put Pacquiao to sleep with one of the most devastating knockouts that we ever seen, one of the most devastating counter punches we ever seen. Listen, Marquez is in there. All right. Then after Marquez.
Wait, you mean Marquez actually knocked Pacquiao with one punch?
Yeah.
And he's in. You think he deserves to get in over Timothy?
Definitely.
Marquez on my list too. You know, don't play me now. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yo, respect to Tim, man. Put some respect on my favorite commentator's name.
There's a guy, right, that I've always said never got his fair shake, and wasn't a. I liked him.
Trails won.
I liked him.
Trails won.
I liked him, but during that era, Roy Jones was the man, and he used to fight on the undercards and stuff like that. He was sensational at 135, and he moved up to 147, and he's always been in there with the best. Sugar Shane Mosley. I gotta give it to Sugar Shane. Sugar Shane, he's one of those guys that people overlook. It's a little tricky but I'm not gonna hold that. But it was tricky. But I gotta put Shane in there, even with the roids. It was you know what I'm saying? I had to put Shane in there, and a personal favorite. This is a personal favorite.
This is where.
And you gotta give Shane credit too, because he was like the only person I seen that really rocked Floyd. Like rocked him. You know?
I mean, I don't give nobody a shot just for landing one punch.
With Floyd, you give him that credit. You know?
But definitely Shane. And the last but not least on my 5 is somebody that I have one of the youngest champions, one of the youngest welterweight champions. Somebody that's dead in my heart. Somebody that got thrown in. Kind of reminds me of what they was doing to Danny Garcia when they was just throwing him in there with the big guys at that time. And he was in the big fights. Fernando Vargas. 2-time world champion at 2 different weight classes. Tough fights. Beat some top names. Winky Wright, Ike Quarte. Got in some tough fights with Fernando Vargas. Legendary fights with Trinidad and with De La Hoya. It's another fight I can't talk about without getting choked up about. If you knew about his story, you'll know why I like him so much. I'm just glad to see that his name was on that list. Shout out to Fernando Vargas. Now, if I had 2 honorable mentions, I got 2 honorable mentions. I got Jose Arce, It was one of my first favorite little guys ever. I used to predict all his fights to a T. I used to be like, he's gonna knock him out in the second round. And Jose Arce come out and knock him out in the second round. He used to come out with a cowboy hat and a lollipop in his mouth, dancing in the ring. And I think he had his own dance show on Telemundo also. Shout out to Jose Arce. I think that he should definitely be in there. And another person that should be in there, Meldrick Taylor.
That's a good one.
Meldrick Taylor, I feel like one of the biggest robberies of boxing was when Richard Steele looked up at the clock. He likes to say he didn't notice. I don't know. I'm not going to say no conspiracy, but I seen him look up at the clock and then wave the fight off with 5 seconds left, which could have changed Meldrick Taylor's life, who Meldrick Taylor fought a wonderful fight against a legend, a Mexican legend that I adore, Jose Chavez, Senior. And he was dropped in the 12th round with 2 seconds left in the fight. Richard Steele called the fight. And so I think boxing owes this to Meldrick Taylor. And Vinny Paz too. Vinny Paz is in there too.
That's 3.
That's three.
Want to add 5? All right. Can you run through your list again, just so the people you named in the Hall of Fame?
I got Diego Corrales, number 1. Bernard Hopkins, number 2. Manuel Marquez, number 3. Sugar Shane Mosley, number 4. And I have Fernando Vargas, number 5. And for my honorable mentions, I got Jose Arce, and I got Meldrick Taylor and Vinny Paz.
All right. So, your list is solid. Your list. All right, so I'm just going to jump in. Diego Corrales. I don't really need to explain. Trill's already handled that. The execution of Bernard Hopkins at number 2 for me. I think B-Hop is the alien for a reason. What he did in his prime, the fights he won in his 40s, beating guys like Jean Pascal, who's fighting Badu Jack now and has a title, speaks for itself. Bernard Hopkins, first ballot Hall of Fame, easy. Number 3, Sugar Shane Mosley for me. I think Shane Mosley is the guy we always say we want. We want a guy who's going to take on all the big fights. Shane Mosley fought everyone. The only problem is he lost to a lot of them, and so he never gets the credit he deserves. But when you say you want a guy to fight everyone, Shane Mosley did that. He fought everyone. It's very difficult to find someone who Shane Mosley hasn't been in the ring with, and he deserves credit for that, for his wins and for his losses. He was always willing to take on a challenge, and so for that, I got Shane Mosley in at number 3. Number 4, Juan Manuel Marquez. Juan Manuel Marquez is one of the best technically sound fighters ever. He wasn't the fastest, but he was technically sound, very intelligent, legendary victories, especially over Manny Pacquiao. And so for that reason, I got Juan Manuel Marquez in. And number 5, Antonio Tarver. Number 5 is a tough one. That's why. Number 5 is one where there are a number of fighters. I feel like the first 4 slots are really solidified, and I think my first 4, Trill has is his first 4. So I think most people who are in tune with the sport of boxing have the first 4 locked, and I think the 5th slot is where you have some wiggle room. And I threw in Antonio Tarver. And I threw in Antonio Tarver because he beat Roy Jones. Roy Jones, when he was still somewhat close to his prime, although he wasn't really close to his prime, but he's the one who beat Roy Jones first in impressive fashion, where we saw Roy go down and never really get back up. So for that, and when you think of the type of fighter Roy was, he was like otherworldly. So like beating Roy, to me, seeing someone actually put Roy down and Roy just lay there, you know, even before that, I got to give credit to that man. So that's why I put Antonio Tarver in. But Other fighters I would like to see get in on the next ballot, whose name is on this list, I have Fernando Vargas at number 1, and I have Sergio Martinez at number 2. So those would be my 2 guys, like I said. But without question, the first 4, my first 4 I think is locked in.
Yo, hold on. I picked my 5, but I didn't rank them. I just picked the 5 by looking at the list. So, yeah, I didn't rank them. So Carl Froch would be number 3. Carl Froch might be my last one right after
where's
Timothy Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Yo, listen, man. Yo, Bradley's forever. Yo,
all right, yo.
He's gonna be forever my welterweight.
So,
how about that?
So Bradley deserves to get it over Diego Corrales because you don't have Diego.
Nah, I don't. You know what I mean?
So Bradley deserves to get it over
Yo, this
Diego.
is my list, bro. So I'm gonna say Bernard number 1, Mosley number 2, Juan Manuel Marquez number 3. Then I go with Timothy Bradley
Anything
number
you say
4,
if it's not Diego, you're crazy.
and then Carl Froch.
You do know that Diego's number 1 on my list. I think he was number 1 on.
Nah, yo,
Show's
facts. Because now I remember the fight, and I was like, yo, that is a legendary fight. But I'm going by what brought me to the sport and what, like, the people that I was watching that made me go, all right, yo, boxing is my sport.
The Cobra brought you to the sport?
Yo, real rap at that time. Remember, because Andre Ward, he lost to Andre Ward, right? During the what's that shit called? The
Super 6.
the Super 6, right? But Ward's not on this list. So, but I remember the Super 6 and I watched it and I was like, yo, this is dope. And to me, Carl Froch was second best on the Super 6. So I was like, hey, he's on this list. This is mine's is like a more nostalgic type of list. And so, you good, bro?
Oh, my bad. Your son looks like a fool in the room. I can't look outside.
Yeah.
Ned the cameraman's tweaking. Ned the cameraman's tweaking.
He's really flying towards me. It's like right
He
there.
thought Timothy Bradley about to duff him. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
I'm just saying,
listen.
like, my list is more of like a nostalgic list that brought me into the sport of boxing when I was like, all right, forget all the other sports, forget MMA, boxing is it. Like, and so my list is more about the technicality of these fighters, right? Like, they're highly skilled. I would have had Andre Ward if Andre Ward was on the list. He's not on the list, so Carl Froch gets it by default. You know what I'm saying? And how I put it is like he represents, you know, boxing across the pond. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, all right, I could consider him because I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't factoring in, you know, UK boxing. But I get it. Some people feel like it doesn't even matter. But there's a number of factors why he makes my list. So, and I don't mind, yo, y'all want to hate on my list, it's cool. It's whatever. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I'm going to catch a lot of hate.
Yeah.
In my eyes, hate is love. Blessings, you know what I mean? And best believe,
blessings.
one day when Wilder gets on this Hall of Fame list, my number 1 spot. You know what I mean?
Wilder gotta do. He gotta do more. He gotta do.
Just when we were having a good conversation.
Listen, I mean, I don't have to defend my list. You know what I'm saying? My list was from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, as I love boxing. I love boxing, and my list is for there was other fighters on there too, but listen, hey, it's your list. It's your list. You say you just started watching boxing. That's why you picked Timothy Bradley. That was your fighter when you first started.
Like, I was to be honest with you, like, it's always been Floyd for welterweights, but if I had to pick another welterweight that I was really, really rocking with, was Timothy Bradley. You know what I mean? And the reason why is because he fell off later on in his career, but in the beginning, yo, I'm being honest, technically he was sound. Like, don't sleep. Look at Timothy's old fights. He's actually pretty good. You know, and later on in his career, he tried to slug it out. Now, mind you, he was known for having pillow hands. But if you could look past the pillowness, you know what I mean? You could appreciate the art in the ring. Nah, real rap. You could appreciate the art in the ring. Like, the science is there. You're like,
So
wow.
Paulie's gonna get in there too.
Paulie was nice, but Paulie took a lot of...
I told you the 5th, for me, on everyone's list, the 5th could be, you know, it's up for debate. It's up in the air. But I feel like the first 4 etched in stone. It's not just that you have Timothy Bradley and Carl Froch. It's that you don't have Diego.
Diego Corrales. That's what stings.
That's what
Yeah.
my issue.
I don't
is,
get I just don't get that one. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Diego, who was the man at 135, 140. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the favorite to beat Floyd. You know what I'm saying? They was like he was gonna crush Floyd. This is a testament to how good Floyd was back then. You know what I'm saying? Because they had him. Floyd was the underdog in that fight. Floyd knew what it was. He was crying like that's when Floyd used to cry like a baby and after all his fights and people gave him slack for it. You know what I'm saying? Then he got cocky and they gave him slack for it. So Floyd couldn't do nothing wrong. Floyd couldn't do nothing right. But yeah, like I said, it's your list.
I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, so this is actually a topic that was given to us by one of our someone who watches our show and is in our comment section, Complex Gentleman. He wanted to hear us pick our 5 for the Hall of Fame, and he gave us his 5. And so his 5 would be Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, Juan Manuel Marquez, Sergio Martinez, and Antonio Tarver. So he doesn't have Diego Corrales either, and that's G's.
I mean, like they say, they just started watching boxing.
Shout out to Complex.
Please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's the Boxing Bros.
You're not finna disrespect me like casual, son.
You made yourself a casual. You let Diego off the list. Bro, you leaving Diego off the list is going to get like, mad people coming at you, dog.
Like, yo, get G off the show. You know what
This said Carl Froch. I like Carl Froch. Carl Froch was my guy.
Yo, of all the people that listen put Carl Froch on his joint.
you know what's funny?
It was
a strong wrong moment. It was literally already called this out. I can't even renege at this point.
Timothy Bradley, I understand you like Timothy Bradley, but right now, you had other
Timothy
people.
was my dude.
You had a tank moment.
You had a take over.
It's like, I guess we gay. I was like, damn. They got that confidence. Should be on my list. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Got to say the confidence, man. Just let the comments violate me.